Hey guys, welcome to the Authors Porch, where every good conversation starts. I'm CJ,
I'm Anastasia.
and we're here to tell you our story and how we got started as authors because we believe that you can have the same journey if that's what you would like. And we also want to tell you how we came into our truth. So I'm going to start out by asking Anastasia a bunch of questions because even though me and her have been following each other for a little while now, there's so much more I want to know about her story. And I love hearing how authors get to start their journey and how they go about learning the craft, the art, and also the struggles in the business because, y'all, the struggle is real sometimes. I'm just trying to make sure I click on the video. So if we get anybody that is talking to us because this is live, we can definitely get engagement going. And we want to make sure we talk to them. So Anastasia, love, how are you tonight?
I am doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm tired, but I'm doing good, after a long day. So how long have you been authoring?
So I've been authoring since 2018, but I've been writing since I was in grade school.
Okay. And when you were in grade school, what type of stuff were you writing?
So at grade school, it started off with a assignment that we had to create a book, literally from start to finish, like the cover and everything. But I didn't, think nothing into it. As time progressed, I was writing like skits and plays and stuff for me and my friends, and I wrote like short stories, poems, and different things like that.
Oh, cool. I've never wrote poetry. It just wasn't something that was natural for me, you know. But I kind of had a similar start. It was middle school for me.
Okay.
I wasn't one of them students that was really in tune with school. I was more, let me get out of school and play with my friends. So we had to write a short story, and I wrote a scary short story, like a ghost story type of thing. And my teacher told me it was good, and she believed in me, and I was like, I want to write. And from then, I always wanted to, but I never touched it again. I always had the idea in my head for many years. So when was it that you said you wrote all through school? When did you start thinking about it becoming like a reality that you could actually become an author?
So that was 2018. I had my youngest son and I was on maternity leave. So my 9 to 5 gives you like 13 weeks off. I was so bored. Like I was in there crazy. I'm like, I got to do something. Like I know I have some type of creativity in me. So I just started writing, and that's how my first book came about, Dear Diary. I'm literally actually writing as if I'm writing in a diary. And I'm like, I don't think it's good enough. So I still kept second guessing myself. So that might have been the reason why, even during grade school, high school, all of the times that I did write, I just felt as if it wasn't good enough. Like maybe my writing just wasn't up to par.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, so that self-doubt. And it's funny because I always had this idea of what I wanted to write. Like I wanted to write like kind of like a romance story of life without you. That was the book name in my ear, was just kind of life without that somebody that you wanted to be with your whole life, and how life was when you couldn't have that person, right? And it just kept evolving into so many different things. But I was like, but I'm just me. Like, who wants to hear what I have to say? And my grammar skills are horrible. So why am I even going to try? And I kept telling myself that. So I understand that self-doubt, because it's not like there's a lot of encouragement in this world, like the author world, until you're actually in it. Once you're in it, I don't know about you, but have you found that authors are very inviting?
they're not very inviting.
Oh.
They're not. I don't know. It's like I pick and choose. Some are, but some are not. I believe, this is just my theory, that people feel as if you help them, you may take off and you may take their readers. So now they're feeling some type of way. So I've noticed a lot with that. So I try to do my own research and then go from there, because I do notice like in the author world, it's like, wow, they're really, really tense, or they don't share your post and different things like that. I'm like, wow, okay, this is a really cutthroat. But then again, I guess it's competition, but I don't see it that way. If someone has a question and if I can help and it doesn't hinder me, I will answer it. I don't see any problem with it at all.
Yeah. Well, see, I've had the exact opposite. I've had some very open conversations with authors, and it's been great. Now, recently, I've gotten out of all my groups. You saw my post. I got out of 60 different groups. I was in a children's author book groups, and then after what happened to you, where someone stole your artwork and stole your work, I got out of all my groups because I was like, you know what, it's getting too noisy, and all it was about was self-promotion. And you're right, it became so much self-promotion that I said, this was not a part of me. But authors as a whole, I felt that they were more, you could reach out to them a lot easier and ask them questions about stories and how to do certain things versus like podcasts and media world. They didn't want to, the media world don't want to share. But the author world was more inviting, I found. But I write children, started out writing children's books, so maybe that's why, because we're all like happy-go-lucky, you know, and we're all like, hey, how are you?
Yeah, it's big. It's a big difference. Big difference. Now the children's book, I get a different feedback with that one, but the adult books is like, okay, I noticed they're a little tight with their information. So I just, since I'm a big reader, I just go off what I read, and then whatever pops into my mind, I go from there. I really don't really want to ask another author that is writing urban fiction or fiction. I don't want to mimic your story or anything. So I do understand, you know, like why someone doesn't want to help or whatever the case may be. So I get that.
Yeah. And do you primarily write urban fiction?
So far, that's what I've been doing, urban fiction. Then I have the children's book and then the different workbooks. Eventually, I'll branch off to some other things once I do a little bit more research, like horror, because I mean, I've suspense. I like James Patterson. He's really great. And he's really, really, really good. He's very skilled. I would love to write a book like that. Not the exact genre, but yeah.
You know, and I think this is why we connect so much. Like, I think I was fangirling from the moment that I read your children's book, and I've been fangirling all of your posts, and you see me all the time. I'm like, hey girl, what's going on? I'm all over your posts. But I think it's because we cross so many genres. Like, I want to write in everything, you know. I wrote children's books. I have, you know, like my picture books, and I have 100-page children's book, and I wrote my sister's memoir. I'm working on some other memoirs, and I want to delve into fantasy. So it's like, I understand, like if I have a feeling for it, I want to go for it. I don't want to say, well, I'm only this or I'm only this, you know. So what do you think about people trying to say you have to write one genre?
I don't agree, because why do you have to write one genre? I mean, the author world is very big. Genres are very big. I feel like if you can do your research on that genre before you write it, then what's the problem?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that, you know, and we talked about this at one point, writing from a place of passion. I think that if you're writing from a place of passion, you can write whatever you want. Like this book that I'm writing, this fantasy book. It's you know, I tell all my stuff. I'm sure someone might steal my idea one day, and I'm okay with that. I'm like, whatever. If it does you better off than me, that's fine. But it's you know, about these two kids that turn into being magic, and their ancestry has something to do with it, but it's all cloak and dagger type of stuff. And like, it just popped in my brain in the story. Like, I closed my eyes and the story just starts to unfold. And I'm not saying it's going to be a bestseller, it's going to be wonderful, but I'm saying that, like, if I close my eyes and the story just starts to unfold, and I'm just sitting there typing and my eyes are closed and I'm just smiling and, ooh, you know, then I think I should write that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so, I do that. I do that as well. If it plays in my sleep, I know it's meant to be written for some reason.
Yes. And, you know, it's crazy because I woke up from a dream one time. When you talk about sleep, I got to tell you the story, because I woke up And I was like almost drenched in sweat, like cold sweat. And my husband was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I had this dream." And I told him, and it took me almost an hour to tell him because it was such an elaborate, vivid dream. And then I had to go write it down. And it's about halfway of a book written than when I wrote it down. But it's crazy because it's like I've got to put it down. Now, if I finish it, I do. But if I don't, I don't. But I feel like if I have something that strikes me, I need to write it down. So
Yeah.
what's your feeling on traditional publishing versus self-publishing?
Ooh.
The big one.
Okay, so I am traditionally published and I self-publish as well. I don't care for traditional at all. When I say I cannot wait for my contract to be up with this company because I made no sales, zero sales. And you pay all this money and they do all this promotion. There is no way you make not one sale, not one click on the digital, nothing. That is so strange to me. And it's funny because I followed them on social media. So I watched their page and everything, and I'm like, wow, they don't even post about these books. They don't post anything. It's really weird to me. So when I called to ask, I'm like, hey, I won't tell you guys the publishing company yet
Yeah,
until
please
I'm
don't.
not right now. But in March I will. Maybe. We'll see. So I call and I ask, hey, you guys don't promote on social media. I see you guys posting, but I don't see you all posting like books. You pick and choose who books you post. Like, is there a reason for that? And he couldn't answer the question. It was weird. And I'm like, wow, okay. But just add that to my notes in my mind. And he was like, well, if you would like us to post something, just let us know what you like us to post and we'll do that. And I'm like, wow, why did I have to ask you to post something that you all created? Well, that I wrote, but you did all of, okay. All right. So I'm like, okay, I'll leave that alone. And I went back, I'm looking through the page, I'm going through the pictures, and I'm like, wow, still nothing. I'm like, all right, I think I'm done. I know for sure I will not go the traditional publishing route ever again. I really don't recommend it to anyone. I get it. They do tell you, like, we get you out here, we do this and we do that. Some companies may, but this particular company that I went with, they didn't do with half the things that they said they were going to do. So don't recommend it. Now, the self-publishing is awesome. You got full control over everything. The only thing that I don't like you brought up earlier with the children's book, you get people on social media that I don't know, is weird. So you get that type of stuff. This person didn't take the full book because I don't post the inside of the book, thank goodness. They just took the cover. But just the fact that you took our names off as if it wasn't what we created was the bad part. Like, wow, you're really actually claiming this lady's work. I mean, she took her hard work and time because it was very time consuming to get it done the way I wanted it done, and you're taking her claim. This person's page is still up, the website is still up, everything's still up. I think they blocked me, but I can still see certain things. So that's the only bad part. You have to be very careful with how you post your things. If you do post it, make sure your name is somewhere on there because you do like that. I have another project that's coming out next month, and I was looking for an illustrator because it's something for children. And I'm going through all of these people. No one really sat right with me. Now, there's one particular person, I saw her post in a group. I'm starting not to like the group. I think I'm about to do what you did and go ahead and exit because it's something weird with these groups now. So
it got real bad.
It's getting really, really weird.
Over the
So
past 2 months.
right, I was seeing the post and I'm like, okay, wow. And then I'm constantly seeing more and more posts. Once I saw my book on a post, it was like that took the cake. But this last project that I'm working on for the end of the year, it really took the cake for me. So I finally picked someone to do this project. And they told me how much. We got down to the science. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to sleep on it just to make sure that this is the person I want to work with. And I still waited. I waited like a week before I told them, okay. So I finally agreed. So we discussed that it was going to take 2 to 3 weeks. I'm like, wow, that's cool. I can do this by the end of December, and I can still have it out, and I can do what I need to do. She's like, yeah, you can do this, this, and this. Cool. A week passed. Oh, I paid my half, so almost $200. The week passed, nothing. I haven't heard from them. Supposedly, the Facebook page disappears. I said, wow, okay. I'm not gonna panic. Don't panic. I'm telling myself not to panic, but in my mind, I'm panicking. $200 it's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
Right. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna panic. I'm waiting. I'm still being patient. I'm like, okay, I'm working on my patience, and I know, illustrations take time. So I'm steady talking to myself, but this person is gone. No response, no emails, nothing. So then this page adds me. I'm like, this looks like the person that I'm working with. This is weird. So I'm gonna accept the friend request. And they say, hey, my page got hacked, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, now your page got hacked. This is weird. Like, this is very weird. Long story short, another page popped up with that same person's illustrations. So now it's 3 different pages doing the same thing. So I'm like, hey, do you have any of the images ready for my project? Like, do you have any samples, anything? No response. Finally sent the sample, but I like wake up in the middle of the night and I'll stroll through Facebook, and I know I saw that sample that she gave me and put my character's name on it. I saw it last night. And when she sent it to me this morning, I'm like, I know I saw this, but I didn't screenshot it. I should have. But yeah, so then she messages me after she sends the image. I'm like, oh, that looks pretty cool. I'm going along with you because I don't want you to get freaked out that I think I figured you out. And she says, yeah, one of my other clients, she thinks I'm frauding her as well. She paid her money, and I tried to add her to let her know that I'm not a fraudster. So the third page pops up, and I'm like, okay. So I screenshot that and I send it to her. Hey, so are you guys working together? And she's like, that's my old page. How is this your old page? And it just posted 9 minutes ago. There's no way this is your old page. So now I'm sitting here, I'm like, yeah, this is a scam. I know this is a scam. So let me go ahead and contact who I need to contact to get my money back. And I need to find the illustrator immediately, because in my mind, I still want my project to come out. So I'm going back with the person that did my first children's book. I don't know for sure if it's a scam, but it's weird that you have 3 different pages with all of your posts. That it doesn't make sense, because why are you operating from 3 different pages? It's weird. And when I screenshotted her images and showed the illustrator that I'm working with, she told me that those are, she didn't use the word photoshopped. It's another word she used that those photos were clip art or something like that.
Stock photos.
What kind?
Like stocks, like something that's already.
Exactly what she said. So yeah, no. After this, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It pertains to an illustrator, because now I am super nervous, because literally she disappeared and then opened another page. So I don't know. So I agree. I think I'm gonna delete the groups, but it helps though. They help, and they start.
Yeah, that is such a struggle, because when you are self-publishing, because I didn't even try to do traditional publishing. It wasn't anything I was interested in. I found a podcast, Author Like a Boss. I don't know if you ever listened to it, but it taught me everything on how to self-publish and how to market and how to do everything that I do for my author journey. So I was like, I found that, and I was like, I'm going. I'm not waiting on anybody. And I've always been one of the people that a little, I wouldn't say pushy, but I never waited on nobody. You know what I mean? So for me, and I love the freedom of self-publishing. So I get it. But here lately, I want to say the past couple months, we're all stuck inside. So I think everybody's on the internet. And I had to take myself out of 60 different groups, because they tell you, in marketing and promoting your work, you want to get in as many of the groups as possible. And then somebody asked me this question. They said, are your readers even in that group? I'm like, you're right. They're not. It's other authors trying to promote their own stuff. And then I too, because I'm a children's book author, I was looking for illustrators. And it just, I was nervous of getting scammed. Now, your illustrator, I had reached out to her because I was going to use her for one of my books. But at the time, I changed my mind and I went with a college student who was about to graduate. She used it for one of her senior projects. So it was me helping a college student out. But your illustrator is really good. I love her work. So she's legit. But everybody else, you're right. It felt like a scam. And I was like, and so now I do, if I'm not getting an illustrator that I know personally, I'm doing my own artwork.
Yeah, I can't do my own artwork. I don't have that skill, but I'm gonna have to find either someone closer to me that I can trust too. Because I mean, some of the people you can't really trust either. But other than that, I don't think I'm going to go through social media anymore because I don't want that to happen again. I don't want it to happen to anyone. So like if I see things, I try to make sure I share it or post about it because everybody's not up when I'm up and see the things that I see. So no, but my illustrator, she is in India though. That's the only thing that when we started our first process, it was a process because India goes through different things that we don't go through. And it was like, I couldn't contact her either. And that particular project was way more than $200 that she had. Yeah. And I'm like, OMG. And then once we talked and I'm like, okay. But after this incident today, I went and reached out to her like, hey, even though that you're far, I trust you for some reason. So if you're free, can you please help me with this project? And thank goodness she was free. So that worked out.
Yeah, and I'm not an artist by any way. I just use a lot of programs that make it look like it's okay. It's not even halfway as good as, it's not even as great as illustrators and what they do. But for me, it's more, I like the process of it. I've always liked art as a whole. So it's more of a hobby and an outlet for me. And eventually one day, I would like for it to be my only means of work, but it's not something that I put that much time into that it's the only thing that I'm putting all my stones in one basket. Now, is writing for you, are you looking for it to be your full-time career?
I want to open a writing studio. Nice. So I don't think I will write. Well, I'm still gonna write. I'm not even gonna say that, but I will help others write as well. So my goal is to get the writing studio. I want like book buses. So anyone that works with me, our items can be produced like in large quantities and we are able to ship them out on our book buses. We can travel and do events and different things like that. So that'll just be my way of giving back. Like I can still, just like I help people with their questions, I can still help you even with this process. So you may try to go through a publishing company and they're charging you thousands of dollars, and I may not do that because I want to see you do good. I want to see everyone do good, even if it's better than me. But I just want to help. I'll get my blessings back tenfold. I'm not really too concerned about that. But if I can help someone in any kind of way, I think that'll be good because everyone has a story to tell.
Yep. So yeah, I'm currently working with one author. She was traditionally published, and she had the same story that you had. And she canceled her contract, and now she is going to self-publishing, and she is loving it. I taught her how to format, how to edit, how to understand the Facebook pages and marketing and things like that. And she is just cooking with grease. She's loving it, loving the freedom of it and knowing, because she's had her second book in her series written for quite a while now. And the thing was that she was waiting for to get some information back from publishers, and she wasn't. And that's the struggle that a lot of people do. So, and I reach out to authors and I tell them, look, if, I can help you with that. I'm not asking for anything. I just know the struggle that you're going through. And I was working with another author, but she wanted to continue on her traditional publishing deal. And that's fine because some people, it is a lot. The marketing, the editing, the illustrating, the formatting, the putting it on KDP yourself, the following all of this, and it is a lot. I mean, you're literally, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, you're doing something with your book, right?
Right, exactly.
And a lot of people, it's too much. It's definitely too much. But I mean, for me, I enjoyed that process of it. I enjoy every single part of the process. Um, and I love that you said you wanted to work with other authors as well, because that's kind of what we're going to be doing here with the Authors Porch, right?
Exactly. See, that's a start.
Yes. So one of the things we want to tell everybody moving forward, tonight we gave you a little bit of insight into our story and how we got started. But moving forward, we want to bring on other authors because we want them to tell you their story, tell you their struggles within the world. And also, if there's anything that we can help, me and Anastasia can help with your author journey, we want to be able to help you along that journey because we know we've been there. We've struggled. I didn't go traditional, but she went traditional and now she went self. And I've always been self publishing. She writes urban fiction and a little bit of children's books and workbooks, and I'm writing children's books and memoirs, and I'm going into fantasy, and we're just a big hodgepodge of fun and joy and knowledge that you can definitely sponge up and get some information, and that's what we're hoping. We said bi-weekly we would have authors on and kind of discuss their journey along um, the trail into their author life, right?
Yep.
I'm excited because I love talking to other authors and finding out where they've been, where they're going, what their struggles are, because I learn as I go, as I sit. And there are a couple groups that I'm still in. I didn't get rid of every single group. I just got rid of all the promotional groups because I'm like, I'm done. I'll promote another way. I got into the I'm still in my collaboration groups where I talk to some people.
Okay.
And I really love those because it's all about just talking about the author journey. And I had a lady in one of those groups that was really nervous about an interview, and I said, "Hey, just give me a call. I'll help you get unnervous. You can just talk to me. I'm a perfect stranger. The person interviewing you is going to be a perfect stranger. If that helped you, then I'll do it." And it was great. We connected, and I'm reading her book now because I was like, I have to read your book. Like, this is so interesting. And like, I'm hooked on her book now. Like, seriously.
See, that's all it takes. Just a conversation. That's it.
Yes. And you know what? In the porch, when I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, we hung out on the porch all the time. Every time I would drive home, because I was in the military and I would drive home, so I always drove home when I was stationed in the States. And I would drive in, and everybody would be sitting out on the porch, hanging out. And I would just pull up and hang out on the porch with them until everybody got tired. Then we go in and go to sleep. And the porch is the one place that everybody can have a great conversation. The one place where we're all equal is on the porch.
Exactly. That is true. We did sit out on the porch as well. Because most of the time we was in trouble. We couldn't leave off the porch. So
That's true.
was right
You
there
live
on
that porch.
So yes.
Oh, do you have any parting words for our first episode? I wanted to have it, but I wanted to keep it short and sweet. And the reason why I want to do that is just to give an introduction into us and what we're all about, and let people know, look, we're here to have fun and talk about this thing called being an author and writing from a place of passion, and let people know we're here to help them and get them to where they want to be along in their journey. So with that, do you have anything that you want to impart on them before we head out for the night?
No, I'll just see them in the next episode.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing this bi-weekly. So we've got a form that we will send you. If anybody wants to be on the show, you can message us on the Authors Porch inbox or the authorsporch@gmail.com. Shoot us an email. We have an intake form. We'll send you the intake form. You send it back to us, and either myself or Anastasia, whoever checks the email and gets it, we'll see which date is available that fits with your schedule, and we'll get you on, and we'll interview, we'll talk. It's not really an interview. It's more like a conversation. I want to call it an interview. Do you? Now let's call it a conversation. We'll have a conversation and we will just hang out. And you know what? You can even bring some coffee if you want, because it's going to be this time on Tuesdays, right? It's Tuesdays at 7 every other week. And we'll have a good old conversation. If you want some tea, we can have some tea. Just don't spill the tea, because there's some tea that we can't spill.
Right.
We got to be careful. I know. I was like, no, don't say their name. All right, guys. I don't have anything else, Anastasia. Do you?
No, that's it.
All right, it's been fun. I can't wait to see who our next author is. I know a couple people have reached out to me. You already said someone's reached out to you. So 2 weeks from now, we're going to be back. Me and Anastasia will be back, and we'll see what other authors are going to be on here, bringing you some of their goods as well. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.